This is a two-part tutorial in which we will explore Orbis in terms of industries and interesting variables that are recorded about the huge number of firms that are being followed by this database over the years in all the world. And as I said, in many countries. And then we will actually get to the practicals of this module, which is getting data from Orbis. And because I don't want to lose this important bit, getting Orbis data, I want to give a preview of the second part before we get lost in the exploration part. And so getting Orbis from data will be very specifically tailored to a certain data set that I obtained. As you know, in this module, you have a required reading, which is a paper I produced especially as a template for students engaged in this module to develop their group project and also their individual proposal and analysis demo. And it's what is being shown on the left-hand side of the screen here. It's the quant part, let's call it. The quant part of this paper is on page 11. Showcased in one table, a very important table in the quant domain of your group project, which you will also have to develop as well. But in this particular required reading, you will see that there's one dependent variable, so also called Y for shorthand purposes. And the setup in that paper is having one dependent variable and several independent variables and controls listed in this table. Ignore the small numbers. They're important later when you will develop your own table. Right now, I want you to focus on what's highlighted in yellow. Of course, is the title there. It's the DV, the dependent variable, the Y, that it's not an Orbis variable. It's hand-collected by me from LinkedIn. So that's the why, the important why. What's important here to note is that in the Orbis exploration that will follow this particular slide, we would like to see how to get revenue from all firms, average cost per employee, number of employees for our firms, and total assets. Why is that? Because in the second part of the video, we will download a data set with just the highlighted indicators for the firms in music and sound production industry, as this paper is set. And we'll have a slightly different specification. The years will be different. For example, the two Ys that I will explore are now in 2023 measured, whereas in the paper you will read there in the previous year. They switch roles. One of the controls becomes, in this experiment of ours, becomes a main dependent variable, average cost per employee, the first one. Revenue from being X1 in the paper you saw as a template becomes here the second dependent variable. And I generate a new independent variable, X, the European firm, being within or outside the perimeter of the Roman Empire. You'll see how easy that can be constructed because we get countries, we get data on the countries in which these countries exist, these firms exist. So it's going to be easy based on what we know about the Roman Empire to decide which country was within or outside the Roman Empire. And two remaining controls. They're the same controls as in the required reading paper. Firm size is number of employees and firm size is total assets. Now, I want to show you this quick big picture because something changes about this table, slightly changes when you have a different setup. So the first setup on the left-hand side is one dependent variable, two independent variables. And here's how it looks when we have two dependent variables and one independent variable. Basically, we don't have to recreate the baseline model, which is just the controls, as in the first version. We just have to run two models in which we keep our main independent variable X and the two controls, but we run that model on the first independent variable, average cost per employee, and we do the same model, but on a different dependent variable, the second one, revenue. Right, so this is what I wanted to say before we dive into our search for data in Orbis. Now, how do we do that? I'm going to share just my browser and show you how this is done. You just have to type here Orbis UCL. If you don't have the link, it pops right there at the top, and you land on the UCL library page. And here, if you have an interest in Orbis mergers and acquisitions, or if you want to go into banking, maybe for for your group project, you may want to explore this mergers and acquisitions or bank focus, but kindly stay to the instructions, which is for your individual proposal and analysis demo. Get data from Orbis, which is the first vanilla, I call it the vanilla data set, and you hit that. I don't know if it's going to take me directly. It took me directly. You might have to sign in with the SSO. So be prepared to enter your details for that. If it's not a straightforward step, as in my case, you land on this first page. And you probably, I remember the first time getting here, being overwhelmed with so much information. What is important here are two things, and they're listed in this column here. First, we're going to go to activities and industries, and then to financials. These are the two main windows we're going to open today, and it are important for getting your sample. Of course, you can search for specific companies. You can, in your search, select some favorites and just go with your favorites, but we're not there yet, so we're just going to attempt the basics today. So let's just hit activities and industries. Here you're going to have a search window. From experience, I know already what kind of industries and how they're classified. But for the sake of helping you identify them faster, let's just use some keywords. For example, if you have an interest in creativity, and some group projects in prior years and future years will have a focus on creativity, then let's just search words like video. Oh, something has changed. No, we need activities and industry classification, sorry. And here's where we search for video. Yeah, so we have motion picture, video and television program activities as an industry, a 3-digit code, which is what I recommend students, 3 digits or 4-digit code for industry selection for your analysis demo. What else? I have arts, speaking of creativity. There's creative arts and entertainment activities, or performing arts, even more specific, the 4-digit code here, 2001. Maybe you're more into art, maybe you're in the scientific creativity. So let's just look research. And we have advertise and market research, which is the commercial kind of research, yeah, for commercial purposes. But if you scroll, that's, sorry, 7320 could be, or a simple 732, market research and public opinion polling. But at the bottom, a favorite of mine is research and experimental development on social sciences and humanities, which is the kind of research that universities do. And so one is commercial at the top, advertising. The other is more societal level, non-profit, let's call it, kind of a research, scientific research, not for commercial purposes. Another keyword that I put here, yeah, some of you are technically inclined, so maybe you look for an industry that is technical. Let's put information, since this IMB is your degree. Information, let's see what that gives us. We have at the bottom here, retail sale of information and communication equipment. Maybe it's not what you think of it as the first pick, but you can have information service activities, wholesale information and communication equipment. So IT is here. I think there's software. You can search for software, software publishing as a niche of an industry. And since we are looking also at in the class at the natural environment and the impact of natural environment has on management, or how it relates to management. Here it is. The first 9 industries here relate to industries that have direct contact with nature, like crop and animal production, forestry, fishing, mining of coal, extraction of petroleum, mining of metal, other mining support. And actually, there's another nature related industry of mine, and that is waste. Even waste management is on here. See, waste collection, 381 at the bottom. Waste treatment and disposal, even water treatment is in here. So plenty of industries that relate to the natural environment to pick from. Now, since we had a pick of industries, let's take a look also at what Orbis has in store for us. Let's see how I go. I just go back. Yeah. In terms of financials for the firms in these various industries, let's hit financials. Of course, you can go on these categories and open them up and browse them. I'm just gonna do again the search. I'm gonna use the search because I know some key indicators that have been used in the past or could be used in the future. Let's talk about natural environment. What's important to know about these firms in the natural environment? They explore the environment. So let's hit explore. Oh, sorry, what I need to do always, I need to remind me, I need to key financial and employees. It needs to be hit. No, not that. Sorry. Going back. So explore. Oh, I just had to be more patient. So here's exploration. It's a variable. You hit that variable and you select it from here. Very soon I'm going to show you the steps. So let's go back and see what other variables are there. Exploration, research and development are and I think it's this R&D. Yeah, R&D expenses, research and development expenses that companies make on their activities. What else I have? Export. So maybe some of you are interested in how these firms go outside the boundaries, maybe to other cultures, other nations. And export is one such activity. And we have here export revenue, and also as a percent of the operating revenue of the firms. So R&D, exploration, export. Important variables that I recommend students to consider are performance indicators of these firms. The classical ones that you see in the Ricardo paper is the revenue, but we also have profitability. Let's see for profitability ratios, which are really profit. Let's keep it profit. I'm always make it more complicated and profit. Come on, industry. Was I in the industry? What happened? Profit. Yeah, there it is. Profit and loss before tax. That's the one I recommend. Why before tax? Because countries have different tax regulations, and you don't want tax regulations to affect your analysis. So I would prefer if you look at performance of companies, look at their profit before tax. So there we compare apples to apples, their profits before they're being taxed, because some countries have higher loads or lower, others have lower loads, and that affects their final profitability, the net profit. So profit loss before tax, or it can be a return on assets. Let's see, ROA. That's the yeah, there are several ROAs here: return on average equity, return on average assets, return using profit loss. I generally prefer the return on assets. It makes more sense conceptually. So how much you get back for the assets you invest. But of course, the others are equally appealing if you have a reason for why you want to pick that and not the other. Or maybe even without a reason, maybe you like that measure because in your experience you have used it before and you know it's more appropriate to measure certain things. Right, so that's the performance measures that are important. And I think we explored enough. Again, a sum up of the first part. You have to hit when you land on this page. Activities and industry, you have to select an industry. Why? Why do I emphasize this? When you select an industry, you get rid of what it's called in statistics, unobserved heterogeneity. Every industry has its own supply chain, its own regulatory pressures, its own ways of doing things. So if you have firms from different industries, you basically have different fruits. You have apples and oranges and bananas, and you don't want to compare these fruits You want the same fruit. Let's call it, let's use this metaphor. You want to compare apples to apples. So that's why you need firms in the same industry for that sense of coherence in your results. So we're done with the first part. Now let's move to the second part, which is actually getting a data set. And we're going to use that map. Let's go back again and look at this initial. Where did I put it? Zoom, share. Yeah, we were here looking at the right-hand side, getting average cost per employee, revenue, firm size in two ways. And then I'll explain how to get the X. It's actually very straightforward, very easy. What's unique here is you see in the video proposal and analysis demo, I encourage students to be unique in their approach or somewhat distinctive, creative, in at least one variable or one hypothesis or their tentative research question. I just don't want indicators being churned into multiple regression. I also want a story, and the more appealing, the better for your mark in the introduction. Here, I don't know if you realize, I've been actually struck by this idea. Does history matter? Does the inheritance we have, the imprints, the historical imprints on our geographical industries, does it matter? Let's see what the Roman Empire, in terms of geographies, what the story of the Roman Empire does to these two outcomes of firms, average cost per employee and revenue. The same with you. Feel free to explore a little bit when you choose your variables. Good. Back to Orbis. Stop sharing this and sharing our Orbis land page. Did I share? Okay. I don't know, something is different here. Yeah, now I can see it myself. So to carve out a sample from this database, we need first the industry. So let's look for industry, activities and industry classifications. And here I'm going to search for, something happens. My cursor doesn't work. Good. We need music and sound production. Let's see what this has to do. Here it is. Sound recording and publishing activities. I prefer the 3-level digit code. In this case, in this particular industry, it doesn't matter if you select both or one. But let's select the 3-digit. And as you will see already at the top, it shows how many companies exist in this industry. A huge number. I don't know. It's hard to manage an Excel data set with that many numbers. That's why I decided to restrict further, not just the industry, but also, oh, sorry, let's delete this. It was skipped from the previous. So sound recording, and the second restriction, as I said, is going to be on location. I'm just going to focus on Europe, and I hit location, and then I think it's this. Yes, world geopolitical regions. I select Western Europe and Eastern Europe, and then I hit OK. As you can see, choices are being made, and I hit OK. My sample has reduced from 2,000 something companies to just 100,000, sorry, 200,000 to 100,000. I need further steps in my Orbis strategies, and that is now going to be about the indicators, the financial indicators that I want about these companies in Europe that produce music and sound. So I hit financials, and if you recall, the first dependent variable that I care about is employee cost. Employee cost. And I prefer the average cost of employee, which is at the bottom. I click that. And here's the window where it's very important to take certain steps to make sure you don't have missing data on your rows. We don't download large data sets with empty cells. Here, you have to choose all companies with a known value. So from that first column of options, pick the last one. You want all your companies to have a known values for average cost of employees. It's important because you want to regress your main regressor, main dependent variable is average cost of employee, and you want that data to be clean with no empty values. The other thing that it needs to be done here is the time period in which I collect this. As you recall, I want it in 2023. Relative measures don't help me, absolute measures help me. So here I hit absolute and then 2023 and I hit OK. And we wait. I recommend you to be on campus to make sure your connection is good enough when you get this data. Look at these steps from the previous step where we had 100,000 and something companies. Now we are down to 3,000 companies. So not all companies report their average cost of employee, but it is important to us. So we're going to focus on those that report it. Further, we need the second dependent variable, which was turnover. It's also called revenue, but in Orbis, the word they use is turnover. And we're going to use here we have two ways of doing operating revenue, turnover. Yeah, this is the one. Operating. Again, we look at all companies with a known value for turnover. And in the time period, we hit absolute and we want 2023. We want our dependent variables to be 1 year after our independent variables to get close to that notion of causality. Yeah, something that impacts something else needs to measure before that outcome happens. Looks like it takes Orbis a longer time here to get the revenue data. So loading right now. I wonder why it takes so long. Maybe because turnover is reported by a lot of companies, unlike average cost of employee. So now we have 2,000 firms in our data set. But we need more. We need data on the control. Control one was employees, size of the company as employees, number of employees, here it is. And we want all companies with unknown value, and the time period needs to be in absolute terms before the dependent variable. So now we are hitting 2022 and we wait. Controls need to be measured in the period prior to the outcomes, the dependent variables. Okay, let's give another wait here. Yeah, employees also it tends to be a popular reporting metric. So Orbis takes a long time to collect all this for our sample. Or maybe I have a slow connection. Here it is. I hit OK. Also 2,000 companies, 392. And we have one more control, which was total assets. Total assets, right. First one, all companies with their own value, and then time period absolute in 2022. And we hit OK. Okay. Yep, it takes some time, but we are nearly there. Nearly there. Why am I saying this? Because we still have an important step to take, which is to specify again the variables to make sure they're in the correct format. But for now, let's just view the results. We have 2,000 something firms, a lot. Viewers. Of course, you can restrict the sample further in terms of dropping firms that have less than 10 employees, as I did in the required paper. But let's just keep it at 2,000. I think that can still be done in Excel. And it's definitely over 30 companies required in your data sample. Now, as you can see, companies are listed by their name and also by their country. This is the variable I used to create my binary variable 0, 1, whether that firm is within or outside the former Roman Empire boundaries. So this is manual. You'll have to, if you're considering using um, uh, the country code for something, you have to manually do things by checking what the country is and inputting not just 0, 1, like in my case. You can actually be very creative here. For every country, there are additional census data, like the national GDP per capita, yeah, how wealthy a country is, or even cultural measurements, like the culture, the national culture. And I strongly encourage you, if you have an interest in culture, and for projects, for group projects that are about culture, look up Hofstede's index. Hofstede was a researcher and a big team behind him that collected data on countries and their culture and has an index of various dimensions on that index. So maybe you want to input that country index for all your firms, and because it's going to vary, and then get some insight on how culture impacts certain outcomes of firms. What else is at the country level? Could be funny things like happiness index or weather related indexes, sunlight exposure. So this is a very nice column to consider, the country codes. Some countries are not very clear, so be careful when you look them up. For example, EE, I had to look up what EE is. I forgot what it is. I think it's Serbia or something around there. So just be careful when you look up these countries to identify the countries. Yeah, so I said there's one more step. We will add and remove columns right here at the top, right? We hit that. And we introduce already, we have operating revenue in last year, but we don't want it in last year. We're going to hit that little arrow. We want it in 2022 in absolute term, 23. Yeah, its turnover is one of our important variables. Oh, they also gave us the number of employees, and we want it in the prior year, in 2022. And as you can see, some of them are missing. So we're going to have to look them up again. So we're going to look up average employee costs again. Oh, it was right there at the bottom. Sorry, let's just use employee. Employee, where is the average? There it is. I saw it. Average cost of employee. We added it on the right-hand side and we used the little wheel again. We want this for 2023. And we're going to put this actually at the top. Why do I do this? Because as you know, when you in Excel, when you have to run multiple regression, you want your variables in order. You want all your independent and controls together, and you want the dependent variables separate. And we have dependent variables, your operating revenue and average cost of employee. Yeah, first average cost, that's Y1, and operating revenue is Y2. The rest will be, oh, sorry, it looks like average cost of employees twice. Let's just eliminate the second. Average cost, operating number of employees, we need total assets. Total assets. Absolute terms, we want it in 2022. Good. And I think we're done. We're gonna hit here, apply. These are 4 variables plus 1, 5, because we get the country codes as for the 5th variable. They are being added at the end. Of course, you're gonna get here consolidation code. I looked that up. It's not very useful. You might find it useful. It's about how if that company is a subsidiary or is the headquarters, or it's incorporated or unincorporated. I'm not sure what to do with that. Maybe maybe you want to explore there. Keep it if you think it's useful. But what is really useful, if I were to submit the individual proposal and analysis demo, are these 4 columns at the end, plus the 5th one generated by me using the country ISO code. Now, all you have to do now is say Excel. Yeah, Excel is at the top. It's going to generate a spreadsheet that you can then download. Looks like it's right here on the right-hand side, left-hand side. Oops. And I'm going to say export. And the document is being, I mean, the Excel spreadsheet is being downloaded in Excel format. It's going to take some time. It's hopefully not 2 weeks. But I think in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to get this data and it's ready to be used with the multiple regression in Excel to get some insightful tests on my hypothesis, which is Roman Empire, whether the firm is within or outside the Roman Empire. It impacts maybe labor practices, which we can proxy with average cost of employee, and performance. It may say something to performance of firms, which is revenue. Now, this actually looks like it was downloaded. Let's see if I can share it with you, because it's important to take a look and see whether all the variables are in common and whether the search strategy in Orbis is on the first tab. So let's I opened it, and yes, I'm going to share this with you so you can take a look and see the back to Zoom and back to share. There it is, share. Here's how the downloaded file looks like. First tab is search summary, and it basically gives us note on the steps we took and how from the bigger pool of firms we zoomed in on our specific sample. And on the second tab, we have a bunch of columns which are not very useful. So inactive, quoted, branch, own data, I would delete those. Keep the country, keep maybe you don't need the industry code because you're going to report it anyway. It's the same for everyone. And here are our variables. Anything missing? Yes, nothing. Average cost, operating revenue, number of employees, and total assets. And this is ready to be analyzed. I'm going to do this after I close the video. Enjoy your own exploration, and hopefully you will get a nice sample and some nice stroke of creativity in testing two hypotheses that are you think are interesting. And it's preparing you for the next step, which is next year. If you want to do quant, you already have done some quant analysis in this class, and you can take it further and get more advanced data and more complete data on what you want to test. Good luck, and see you in class.